To honor one of those patriots who, on May 2nd, 1843, founded the provincial government at Champouy, Oregon. This is, looks like McDorham Crawford. Died in 1891. Maybe. Well, there's another name on here. It's really hard to read. Some broken pieces. Cemetery is backed by Palmer Creek. Look, there's an old footstone popping out of the ground there for this headstone. That's cool. It somehow is still there, not lost. Really hard to read. This is for Jane Branch, died in 1902. Seeing that this family lot is got a cornerstone of boxwoods here. And this family has a cement surround. They also have footstones. see that this family has a big family plot all sectioned off, but then they do not have headstones. There's old temporary markers that would have been placed there by the funeral homes, but no markers. Somebody has tiled Fishburne there. Some sinking going on. Just interesting. This family has several headstones, different sizes and styles within their lots. And these are so close, I almost feel like they're probably part of this family as well. I've got cement surrounds around all of these different family lots. Let me see, this one's like stepped down. I'll go to the front and see if they're the same families or not. 1907, 1904. You see this one had a temporary marker, and then this is a newer headstone that somebody's placed. Phoebe Sargent, who died in 1898. Tells me that a family, either a family or the cemetery association, has paid for a newer marker for that person. That kind of matches that one. Those are all 1904, so interesting. Let's see. Alright, so this is Hadley. Those are Warners. These separate lots. This one's really interesting. You see a lot of the iron coming through here. It's not real typical in our area to see that. There's been a repair. I'm curious if there's rebar in there that is seeped through. Interesting to know. This one also looks a little red. And no repairs, so I wonder if the oak is causing that. There's a couple of different oak trees here. These are the Palmers. And let's see if there's Joel Palmer in here. Died in 1884. William. John. William and Alice. It's a cool zinc headstone. These are very neat. They're so ornate. Oh, this is a Hadley too. There's some Hadleys over there. Pearl, daughter of Charles and Martha Hadley, died in 1902 at 18 years old. That's Benny, age 10. That's also a zinc marker, and then that is a zinc marker. Those really hold up over time, don't they? Sister Sybil Hadley, died in 1897. And Lestia died in 1896. And then their footstones have their initials on them for Lestia and Sybil. Hi there, welcome to the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma, and today we're walking through the Brookside Cemetery in Dayton, Oregon, and we're just checking it out. It's so peaceful and pretty. This land was donated by Joel Smith, I think. and he donated it to the school district, which I think is really interesting for the use of burials, which is just odd, I think. I don't know, maybe that was common. The school and the churches were all together, I don't know. It was, the first burial took place in, I think, 1846 or 1846, I think. And then they stopped burying anyone here in 1987. And the historical signage says that the burials were placed really far apart in the original burials and then slowly filled in by family members. So the dates are kind of like all over the place because the first burials were really spread out. So the first burial was Riley Smith, and he was 17 years old, and he died in the Yamhill River, which is the local river of this area. And then it looked like his brother died not long after, and I didn't read about why. But the first woman burial has the most ornate headstone in this cemetery, so I can't wait to show you that when we get over there. It's really beautiful. But for right now, we're just gonna kind of walk through and just enjoy. It's all mostly surrounded by oaks, a few big leaf maples, and just a couple of evergreens, but just old growth, beautiful, shady graveyard. And some really sweet memorials here, and I'm just enjoying this peaceful walk through the cemetery, so I hope you enjoy taking a walk with me. Some of these headstones are so close to the drop-off. I'm always curious if there's lost graves from erosion over the years. It's so little. There's a lamb on it. It's probably a baby. This is a really big family lot. This is for Harriet Lippincott, died in 1860. Look at that pillar. It's intense. Oh, and Jackson Lippincott, died in 1867. This is very tall, like maybe 4 foot. Mrs. Elizabeth Williams, died in 1870, aged 22. This is a double marker, too hard to read. That's really interesting shape. This is the Williams. Multiple people listed here. These ones are kind of angled the same direction. The lichen has filled in all the indenting. This does say Williams. Really hard to see. The rest of it reads. Here's Willie Riley. What did I say that guy's name was? Okay. This is for Dilly, daughter of E. Palmer, died in 1864. Oh, you could see this was, this is a hand carving, which is really cool. Love but not forgotten. Okay. Look at this one. That's super neat. MSC. Daughter of M and M.E. Overholzer. Aged, I can't tell, something year, 7 months. Died in 1863. That's a really pretty headstone. Larissa, wife of Everest. Okay. This is a wooden marker. Can you believe that? I read about it, and it's the last standing wooden marker in the cemetery. Really rare to see a wooden marker this intact. You can no longer read the inscription that was carved on here, but just amazing that it's still here. I think maybe it helps that it's up on a cement block, so it's not touching the ground and rotting from the bottom up, but that's pretty amazing. Let's see, I don't know which way to go. There's some along the edges there, and it's really dark, can't read them. Maybe they're on the other side. This is the one I just look at. They are on the other side. Okay. It's confusing because some are facing this way and some are facing that way. Like these ones, I think, are facing over here. Okay. This person died in 1873. 1904. We're getting close to the first woman burial. This one has the fencing with the steel bars, rounded pillows, pillow markers. This is for Stuart Hannah, born in 1798 and died in 1875. This one's kind of an interesting shape. Cool traditional graveyard styles. I don't know why, but whenever I see them, just these rounded tops make me feel like traditional. I don't know if it is or not, but that's how I feel. Oh gosh. These are William Hadway, Elizabeth Jane, and then Abraham and Edward Hadway. Edward died in 1895, Abraham in 1924. We've got the Swicks here, and lots of little family plots. There's a cradle grave down there. Look at it. Oh, this one has a little round ball on top. That's fun. A lot of times these little finials are broken off, and I'm seeing finials on quite a few of these, so that's really cool. They're still intact. This is for Sarah, Hutchins, I think, 1907. And they have a really beautiful iron fencing around them. All of their chains are still intact or maybe replaced. These chains we talked about in previous videos, but these vases on the corners, since full of leaves. All right, my phone shut off, so I'm not sure how far I got, but the hole in there allows you to fill this thing with water, put your plants or put your flowers in there like a vase, and then the chain would enable you to release that water so that you didn't have stagnant, yucky water in there. And then down here we have a cradle grave. Looks like a baby's grave. It's a small marker. And you could see that it's kind of like a raised bed situation. Often families would plant those up when they visited. And this is for Rena, daughter of something in E, maybe eunuch, something, I don't know. Oh look, she shared my birthday, February 8th, in 1890. She died on October, maybe 17th, 1892. 2 years old. Really pretty leaf formation, like a 3-leaf, whatever it is, maybe a trillium, I don't know. And then the footstone is still intact, which is neat. Again, with the red iron marking with these big leaf maples next to it. If it has anything to do with one another, but this family plot has a big cornerstone with a hole in it for flowers, you know, a vase, giant built-in vase. That cube headstone might be the biggest cube headstone I've ever seen. We've seen lots of cubed headstones, which I always think are pretty interesting, but that is very large. I wish I could like show you scale somehow. It's pretty intense. It just says parish. Mother died in 1923. Father 1919. Priest or prize and 1901. Bessie and May do not have dates. Wow, that is, it's big. I don't know how to like show how big that is, but it's large. it's large. Okay. All right. So then we've got more. I like how there's so much consistency in the surrounds through this entire cemetery for their family plots. It's kind of neat. This one, the marker faces this way. Died in 1890 or 1898. I think it's 1890. And then the one beside it is facing this way. That's interesting. You could tell these families are still local. They're putting mulch on theirs, and this one has gravel on theirs. I love when there's evidence of families still caring for their family graves. You know, 100+ years later. The headstone over there that has the fresh gravel on it, the oldest or the newest date is 1918, which is just, you know, well over 100 years, and their families are still caring for them. It's just like, it's such a precious blessing to me to know that there are still families that are anchored in communities, that we haven't all just scattered to the winds, that there's still like hope for humanity, that family means something, that community means something, that, you know, maybe one day some ancestor of mine will still remember me and still care that my memory is respected and reserved. I hope that for everyone, because all of our lives matter. We were here, we were experiencing everything that we experienced, for better or worse. And, you know, we lived here, and like, if it's all for naught and there's no memory, it's hard to fathom the bigger question of why. So when I see evidence that there's still ancestors caring for their deceased loved ones, it gives me a lot of hope. All right, so now we're at the furthest corner away from where we started, on the other side, all the way over there. And yeah, it's just consistently beautiful through the whole thing, because I think because they stopped doing burials in the late 80s, and I mean, even though I know in the 60s and 70s they started having flat headstones, we're just not seeing evidence of that here. They just continued using uprights or pillows, or, you know, just sort of keeping the integrity of this particular cemetery. There's a sergeant's headstone there from the Civil War. This one has like a Gothic arch, which I think is neat. This is Nella Kate, maybe? Just a few months old, died in 1892. So the Dorseys, and this one is a little bit, these are maybe the newest one, 1952, that I've like seen. I mean, I know it said 1986, but I haven't seen anything that new. I'm not reading every single one though. So, all right, we're gonna we've kind of been coming through this way. We're gonna circle around that way and pay respects to the first woman burial. Let's see this finial that's intact. That's pretty impressive, because that's a lot of small, delicate details. Living remembrance of George Gibbon. Died in 1898 at 80 years old. Cool. So this here is memorial for the first woman burial. This is her husband, Joel Chrisman, died in 1875, and his wife, Polly Sproul, died in 1852. That was 2 years after this cemetery was incorporated as a cemetery, and about 10 years after it was donated to be a burial place for this community. Now, look at that. It's so neat. There's empty placards, possibly for other family members that maybe never used it. Oh, that's super cool looking. And the only repair I'm like seeing is this finial right here, but still there, so that's amazing. And I just thought it was beautiful detail. So 1852. That's also like a year or two after Oregon became a state, so they trekked out here and made some hard choices in life to be here. I think this super cool rock scroll thing happening. Okay. Well, and here's Joel Palmer, the man who dedicated this land, among other things, being a part of the Champoeg Treaty of like land claims and whatnot for the Oregon Territory. He was on that in that meeting. Says he died in 1881, and his wife Sarah died also in 1881, 6 months later. And we've got Ella, who died in 1875, Alexander died in 1884, their children, and this is anything over here. Jolene Mann, daughter of Joel and Sarah Palmer, died in 1877. And these big stones say mother and father there. We only have one down, saved in some cement here. It's broken a few times, and I love that somebody paid for an extra little marker so that as that stone has been broken so many times and weathered, it's harder and harder to read. So somebody just did a simple marker to memorialize Fern McCann, a 1-year-old little girl, and her original markers right above it. So that's really neat, and there's even a footstone still intact there. Lots of old temporary markers with the, these markers used to have a slip of paper in them, in this little window, and it would have had the person's name and birth and death dates, and the funeral homes would place these after they've buried the deceased, so that when the marker got placed, we would know where to place the marker. But these these 4 people never got permanent markers. Okay, well, this is really pretty. Yeah, very beautiful, ornate. Big chunky one. Alright, I tried to find the first burial, but I was not successful. However, we did talk about him earlier, the 17-year-old boy named Riley. We found last name Riley's, but not the first name Riley Smith. That's okay. Anyway, so I hope that you enjoyed this sweet and serene walk through the Brookside Cemetery in Dayton, Oregon, and I hope you're celebrating your life today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.